Hey. Welcome to another Morning Glory Apostolic Prophetic Center video. I'm your host, Hubbard, and I guess I'm not getting a good internet connection, so I'm just going to turn the camera off so we can stop doing whatever it's doing because for some reason the internet connection is not good. In new spot, so today we're going to talk about let's fight this fear. Let's fight this fear. And what God has been showing me, especially throughout my own life, is that many of us are being tried uh, in fear. And what I mean by that is whatever you have feared throughout your life, God is bringing it to the forefront in order to see how you react, how you overcome. Because as I was looking at my own life and just past few months, some of the things God was allowing me to speak on, the season of suddenly, separation and trouble and all of this, is not to today as I laid here pondering that I understand that the things that we fear, Satan can use them against us in a different time. So for many of us, God is bringing what we fear to the forefront. I just don't mind being transparent. Uh, it's just the past few weeks. You understand? A lot of the things that I feared or have been coming to pay my own life. You know, I feared not being married. I feared being alone, and suddenly here I am in the midst of a divorce, and well, it's like everything I had to overcome to get where I am is coming back around, but it's coming back at a higher level and deeper intensity. But understanding my relationship with God, it's not that I fear it, it's that I didn't want to deal with it. All right. So for many of you, you got to understand that what you're fearing is what God is trying to use to strengthen who you are in Him. And for many of you, He's showing you what you consider more important to you. And for a lot of us that's been saying, God, my all in all, whatever you want, God, all that mess that many of you say, in this present season, God is showing you. That's why I said that's why I mentioned November will be a month of judgment. Not necessarily that you're doing anything wrong, but judging to see how much faith you really have in God. Isaiah 41:10 says, Fear not, for I am with you. Be not dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you. I will help you. I will uphold you with my righteous hand, my righteous right hand. And for many of you, you wondering what God is doing. And you're sitting in a place of pondering how much more I can take. God, I'm about to give up. God, when you gonna do this? God, when you gonna do that? The reason that you're dismayed is that the things that are happening to you, you never thought that happened to you. I never thought I'd be in a situation that I I would basically be homeless again myself. I never thought I'd be in a situation that my money will be rocked. I never thought I'd be in just in a situation that somebody think I wanted their wife. And those are all things that I feared, but yet he brought it to the front. Why? Because you had to deal with fear. And see, for many of you, you're dismayed as how it's happening because you didn't see it coming. You didn't see it happening. And what's happening, the reason that you're being dismayed and don't know it's God is because you after to feel your own selfish will. And that's why some of the things that are happening to you are taking the strength out of you because you had your strength in a job, in a person, in a marriage, in your money, in where you live. So you thought you arrived. But God, come here, let me touch that there and see what you really made of. Hebrews 13:5 says, For he says, for he has says, I will never leave you nor forsake you. So we can confidently say, the Lord is my helper. I will not fear. What can man do to me? And see, for a lot of you, you become scared of people. You depending on man to help you. You depending on man to fill that void. And what's happening, God is saying, I'm here for you. But watch this. When it says, what can man be? Some of you upset because your woman done left you. Your man done left you. You done lost your job. Cars falling down. You ain't got no money. You know why? Because you depended on a man. And a lot of your lives are based on who you connected to in the flesh, and not that you've been connected to God in the spirit. 2 Timothy 1:7 says, For God gave us a spirit not of fear, but of power, love, and self-control. See, a lot of you is right in the spirit of fear. Why? Because your faith is not totally in God. God has sat there and told y'all to be quiet, be still, do this, do that. But you fear that God is not going to do what he say he do. So so a lot of y'all trying to help God along. See, we got to understand that power, love, and self-control. What self-control means is that if I don't see God doing it, I still ain't gonna touch it. And for many of you, because what you want is for your own selfish gain, God ain't moving fast enough. When it's over with, God, I need to do this. And what has happened, you lost your self-control because you want to tell God when to do what he want to do because you want to see it now. You have no patience. And see, one thing we got to understand with God, it's all about patience. I was in a restaurant in this town I stay in, and I went to try it out, and I got my order in, and you know, y'all know how I am when I about my food. And the lady came out. She said, "Excuse me, y'all, I can't take no more order because the cook left. I don't know if one coming or if this one coming back." And I said to myself, I said, this is a bootleg restaurant. How can you run a restaurant with just depending on one cook? And when I looked up, I said, did she cook my order? She said, yeah, Mr. Hubbard, here's yours right here. So I said to myself, even with this message, watch this. People begin to walk out. They didn't walk out because of self-control. They walked out because they didn't understand the timing of when somebody would be replaced. Because one of the people said, I ain't from around here. It's another restaurant. And she said, no. See, a lot of y'all losing things, and you failing to take self-control that God will give you better because you have become comfortable. You have become confident. You have become dependent on what you got now. And see, now that God had touched you what you got now, you don't think that you can get anything better. But watch this. You have to learn that God's timing is God's time. And even though that you don't see it, that don't mean God can't do it. Psalms 23:4 says, even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, that comfort me. See, the problem is y'all in darkness, but watch this. You done stop. See, you ain't walking through the valley of the shadow of death. You done stop and trying to analyze your situation. Why my man don't want me? Why my woman don't want me? Why I ain't got no money? Why I can't find no job? Why my ministry? See, what you got to do is walk through this valley of the shadow. It said shadow of death. It didn't say it was death. Watch what I'm doing. I don't care if I get a divorce or not. My job is not to sit and think of what I'm going to get. My job is to follow that light. And when I follow the light, guess what? That whatever the shadow of death is, when it hit the light, it's going to die. But if I sit there, I will fear no evil. So when you sit there in the darkness, instead of walking through, you sit there and you trying to analyze, you trying to strategize, you trying to come up with something, and watch this. The only thing that comforts you is what you think you're gonna lose that you don't want to lose. That's where that rod and staff come in. You know, God trying to pull you along. He said, come on, don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. Don't. And the reason God can't tell you don't worry about that is because you ain't been talking to him. Or you've been talking to him the wrong way. See, that rod and staff can't comfort you when you sitting there worrying about what is to come or what ain't gonna be. But see, I know it's hard. I know it ain't easy. But you got to get your mindset is that even what I lose, even what I don't gain, even if God don't give me what I'm asking for, he's still God. And the problem with many people, they don't believe God is God unless they see their prayer answered, unless they see a miracle happen, unless they see their blessings coming. He God regardless. Hebrews 1 teaches us it named all those people who had faith. And then the scripture said they all died not receiving the promise, but believing in the promise. See, the problem with a lot of people, you want to see the promise. You got to follow God irregardless of if he give you anything. That's the key. My wife ain't got to come back for me to love God. My son ain't got to get out of me for me to love God. You know why? Because when God's your all in all, whatever you lose, you got to know God is willing to give you better than what you lost. Y'all sitting around here waiting on talking about and upset with what you about to lose, but you ain't never seen what God, what you got better for me. Deuteronomy 31:6 says, be strong and courageous. Do not fear or be in dread of them, for it is the Lord your God who goes with you. He will not leave you or forsake you. Now, the problem with a lot of people in this season, they forsaking God. And why are they forsaking God? They forsaking God because God done took their idol. See that man that you love more than anything, God got him to acting crazy. That woman you love more than anything, God done got her to acting stupid. That job you love more than anything, God done allowed the doors to shut. That man you believing in, God got his mind on. That woman that you respect, God got her messed up. That car you got is about to fall down. Why? Because God trying to tell you, I'm still with you, whether you got what you believe in or not. You got to believe in God in this season. And see, for a lot of us, We only gonna believe in God when we see God give us what we praying for. See, I know what I say to many of you. You understand it, but you can't get to it. The reason that you can't get to it is because I'm trying to tell you, it took me a while to get this way. See, I had to go through homelessness 2.5 times. I'm on the halftime now. I had to go without 2.5 times. I'm on the halftime now. But the problem is, if you can't say God be God whether I got it or not, that's why you keep failing. That's why God keep testing you, because you still dependent on this life. Watch. Let me show you a secret. I told y'all about staying in the hood, and I ain't paid rent. See, I wasn't used to paying rent. You know why? Because I needed all my money. All right. So when God started giving me money, after he changed me, I had to make sure my rent was paid. Oftentimes, when I was in the house with the wife, why you pay rent so early? I said I pay it early because I remember a time I wouldn't pay it. So watch this. What that did, it gave me confidence. What's that confidence? Okay, if I can't pay rent, I ain't gonna worry about it because God still got me. How do I know God got me? Because he allowed me to stay in a place for over a year when I wasn't paying the landlord, but I was daring him to put me out. Then he gave me money, I started paying rent. But watch this, I was paying rent in fear, hoping God never take. I said, what happens if I can't pay rent? And see, watch this. That gave confidence that if I couldn't pay rent, God still God. So he allowed me to, he was with me when I didn't have it. He was with me when I had it. And he gonna be with me again if I don't have it and got to sleep in the truck. See, you got to realize that God trying to say what you see. A lot of people want to be comfortable. You get what I'm saying? I'm in this done place, and the Wi-Fi kind of shot so I couldn't even video. But watch this. I said, well, let's use the audio part. Why just use the audio part? You ain't got to see me to hear me. And see, that's what y'all, until you see holes in Jesus' body, you won't believe. Y'all like Down Thomas. And see, you got to see God changing the person. Y'all got to see God move. But watch this. I had to learn that even if God didn't move, I know good. God ain't left you. He just trying to show you you want what you want more than you want me. See, when you come to a place that you want God more than any, I guarantee you that woman gonna act right. That man gonna act right. That money, everything you need gonna fall in place. But watch this. It ain't falling in place now because what you need is carnal, and what God trying to give you is spirit. John 14:27 says, peace I leave with you. My peace I give to you. No word gives do I give you. Let not your hearts be troubled, neither let them be afraid. See, watch this. Some of y'all dealing with a restless spirit. Oh, here it comes. See, the reason you can't sleep, the reason that you up, is that you worrying about what you worrying about. That's why your heart trouble. That's why you're afraid. What's gonna happen is this happen. God, what I'm gonna do? See, you can't have the peace that surpasses all understanding because you worrying about what God touching in your life. Let touch he want to touch, but make sure he touching you. See, when you can't go to sleep, that means your heart trouble. When your heart trouble, that means your mind racing. When your mind racing, it's because you're thinking about everything but God. So now you're afraid. What you afraid of? Will my husband come back? Will my wife come back? Will I be able to live alone? Will I be able to cope? Y'all better get some peace in your life. Listen here. I ain't got the best like I had, but guess what? I got a roof over my head and I got air mattress on floor, and I got the good kind. Because you know what? When I go to sleep, I got peace. I ain't up all night pacing the floor. I ain't up all night worried about my son. I ain't worried about nothing but God allowed me to wake up the next day. When I open my eyes, guess what? Okay, I got another day to get it right. See, God trying to let y'all get it right, but you in fear. See, anything in flesh that you scared to lose, guess what? You ain't gonna connect. Because see, God is a spirit. And those that worship him what? In spirit and in truth. Not in flesh, spirit, and truth. In spirit and truth. What see, y'all want to add, if I can't have her, can't nobody have. You know how many men and women killing each other because they done left one another? I ain't finna listen here. My day's gone. I ain't listen here. I ain't hiding no bushes. I ain't stalking no social media. I ain't riding past no houses. You understand me? I ain't trying to go see if they at work. Them days gone because God my all in all. And see, for a lot of you, if you got to do any of that I name, guess what? You got an idol in your life, and it ain't God. See, that's why you going through what you're going through. Satan know that you got that idol. What is Satan? What is Satan's main job? It's to cause separation, to cause division, to cause chaos. So watch this. When I used to ride past them houses, cause this gun and left me, and I see him, you know what I'm saying? I done paid the light bill and somebody else, that caused confusion in me. Because see, I understood something. I done made, well, whichever girl it was that did, I done made her my priority. And now that I look back on my life, okay, I see what God was doing. He's showing me what's my priority, but Satan trying to use it to destroy me. You get what I'm saying? So watch this. I had to learn that whoever lead me, let them lead. I ain't begging nobody to stay. I ain't finna spread no butt cheeks and kiss nobody ASS. You know why? Because whatever leads, God has the ability to give you better. And see, that was wrong with some of you. Because you blame others for what you going through, then you want to fault them for who you are. No, ain't nobody made you cheat. You cheated on your own. Ain't nobody made you depressed. You depressed on your own. Ain't nobody made you feel like you worthless. You was worthless on your own. That's why a lot of people are heart trouble. They don't love me how I do. Read this love language book. That's the biggest bastardized mess that has ever entered the fleshly atmosphere of human life. I was looking at TikTok today. This bishop at this convocation, he said, me and my wife 7 years. And he went to stuff. But you know what I heard? I didn't hear him say, my language is affirmation. I didn't hear he said, my language is touch. You know what I heard him saying? All he said, God, 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 God. See, if God ain't your language, you'll never know what love language is anyway. And see, y'all done went and got a heathen book and trying to make one another live by something that a carnal mind wrote. How stupid can you be? Adam didn't go up to Eve and say, hey, Eve, my love language is affirmation. Say something good to me. Watch. You never seen Eve talking to him, but you sure seen Eve responding to the snake. Let's go on. Y'all done got mad. Psalm 27:1 said, the Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is the stronghold of my life. Whom shall I be afraid? Why are you scared that people say they're going to leave you? Why your life is dependent on who preached to you? What y'all scared of? Watch this. Let me look it down for you. 1 John 4:18 says, there is no fear in love, but perfect love casts out fear. For fear has to do with punishment, and whoever fears has not been perfected in love. The ultimate punishment that many of you don't understand is separation from God. You know why a lot of y'all scared, in fear? Because you haven't received the perfect love of God. See, when you scatter something, you punishing yourself. And you punishing yourself because you love what you're about to lose more than you love God. See, that's why I said it sounds harsh when I say it, but I mean every word. If my son having to die and I'm on the road preaching, I ain't gonna be there. If my mama having to die and I'm on the road preaching, I ain't gonna be there. Why? Because I don't fear a dead body, the spirit gone. Why I want to go? Why I want to give honor to something that's dead? Huh? So what God is doing in this season, He using what you fear to bring you closer in love. Because when you love God like I love God, I don't. Now, I feel a few things. Fear because of fear. I'm just fearing that the outcome that if it happened to me, I wouldn't have the necessary funds or be in the right state of mind for me to handle what I fear. But I don't fear it as in I'm scared of it. And that's what's wrong with a lot of y'all. You loving things more than you love God. So you fear that what you lose. See, you fear that you ain't got enough money because you really ain't came to God to be your provider. You really fear losing your husband or your wife because you really haven't seen God as the one who fear the voice. You get what I'm saying? Stop fearing. We got to move on. Psalm 46:1 said, God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. Therefore, we will not fear, though the earth gives way, though the mountains be moved into the heart of the sea, though its waters roar and foam, though the mountains tremble. See, all this turbulence y'all feeling, God saying, come to me. But y'all ain't going to God. You know where y'all going to? You go into your closet to cry. You waking up all night, can't sleep. You that restless spirit rests with you. You know why? Because fear is consuming you. I know I sound heartless when I say what I say. But guess what? You got to be heartless to be able to deal with this world. When you see them tsunami comes and they wipe out whole cities, you just be thankful they ain't wiping out you. When you see that war come and all them bombs bombing everywhere, just be thankful they ain't bombing you. Psalms 55:22 said, cast your burden upon the Lord, and he will sustain you. He would never allow the righteous to be shaken. See, the problem is, y'all ain't cast your burden upon the Lord. Guess what you doing? You figuring out how to deal with your burden. Well, what can I do? What can I say? And that's why you ain't get sustained. That's why, watch this. That's why when you go by the gift, she throw it back in your face. That's why when you go to apologize, he don't hear you. Because see, you trying to take on your burden and make things right. And God is trying to say, hey, let me have that down. And I'll show you how to live in spite of. See, the reason you don't see me bother with what's going on in my life, it says he will never allow the righteous to be shaken. See, I ain't double-minded, but I can be double-minded. But guess what? You can't shake my faith. That's why I said it a couple of months ago. He told me, he said, Diedrich, your faith in this season is non-negotiable. I don't care who it is. You know, my mama, my sister, my son, his mama, whoever it is, whatever you doing, if it don't line up with the faith that God got in me, I don't need it around me. I don't need it around me because we in the home stretch. I'm trying to make it to heaven. I ain't trying to make it in love. I'm trying to make it to see the riches of God. I ain't trying to be rich in this world. I'm trying to live an everlasting life. I ain't trying to die in hell. I don't care what somebody else doing. If it's something that God told you is wrong, leave it alone. Don't allow no one to shake your faith. You can't shake my faith. Listen here. If I got to be single for the rest of my natural born life, I guarantee you one thing, it ain't going to shake my faith. See, y'all sitting around here, your faith depending on people. Your faith in your sororities and your fraternities and your 100 black men in America and I'm a Pentecostal and I'm COGC. See, that's false faith. Because see, when you get into it, they can't save you. Because everything I name, if you violate their rules, they get rid of you. But God, I'm still here. No matter how many times I sin, no matter how many times I cuss, no matter how many times I mess up, when I wake up, guess what? He ain't gonna say you violate my bylaws, we can't have you no more. You know what he gonna say? Come on, son, try again. Psalms 91 and 1. He who dwells in the shelter of the Most High will abide in the shadow of the Almighty. I will say to the Lord, my refuge, my fortress, my God, in whom I trust. See, the reason a lot of y'all scared, because you ain't abiding in the shadow of the Almighty. Why you not abiding in the shadow of Almighty? Because watch this, you don't dwell in the shelter of the Most High. See, when you dwell in the shelter of the Most High, you can cry, but guess what? It ain't gonna shake you. You can get upset, but guess what? He's still there. See, y'all worried about losing things. I'm worried about what I'm gonna gain. See, Fantasia said it best. Sometimes you got to lose to win. And that's not necessarily saying, okay, I'm losing per se. That means sometimes you got to let a person go through what they got to go through. That don't mean you losing something to get something else sometimes. See, but the only way You will know that if, watch this, my refuge and my fortune. See, y'all don't trust God. That's why you scared. You don't know what's going to happen. See, we got to live this life that irregardless, once again, if God gives me nothing else, he didn't gave me enough. If God don't answer another prayer, he didn't answer enough. Because you know why? Watch this. I was dead in sin the way I was living. I didn't hear the voice of God. I couldn't see spiritually. I didn't know then what revelation is. I ain't know what wisdom is. I ain't know what. Now look at me. Y'all stop trusting in people and things and trust in God. And now you have a good day. And I'll see you later.